Welcome to Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by IronMag Labs. Make your mark. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Thursday, July 21st, 2016. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. I'm not sure what's in the water out there at Oxygen Gym, but 24-year-old monster in training, Hassan Mustafa, looks like he's been tapping the well pretty hard lately. After dropping off the radar for a bit this week, the former IFBB Junior World Champion popped up out of nowhere and dropped some flat-out ridiculous-looking progress photos. Mustafa already has those big billowy muscle bellies that give his physique a little bit of Ramy-esque feel to it, which is pretty scary when you consider that he's only been training for a handful of years now. Mustafa hasn't announced any plans to compete as of yet, but from where he's sitting right now, it wouldn't take much to bring in the sort of look he would need to turn some heads at an international pro qualifier before the year's end. And if he can sneak in late and possibly snag a win at an event like the Amateur Olympia, don't be surprised if you see him follow Ibrahim Fahim right to the Olympia stage. Speaking of the big man, this week some new Big Ramy training footage set the internet on fire. Just over 9 weeks out from hitting the Olympia stage, the baddest man in bodybuilding is firing on all cylinders. In a new chest training video, we see Ramy looking about as big and as scary as we've ever seen him this far out. 2016 is the first year in the Ramy era that we haven't seen him compete, opting to take some time off to focus solely on bringing his best to the Olympia stage. With all the craziness surrounding the return of Kevin Levrone heading into this year's contest, we really haven't seen the Ramy hype train take off like we have in past seasons, which might actually end up being a good thing. If Ramy can eliminate some of the distractions and come in under the radar, maybe this will be the year we see the big, shredded, nasty version of Ramy we've all been waiting for. Canadian Nationals are right around the corner, and I want you all to remember the name Chris Bumstead. If you're not a fan of the Canadian bodybuilding scene, then you probably haven't heard of the 21-year-old super freak who rocked the house and took the overall at last year's Junior Mr. Canada. But after this weekend, when the dust finally settles at Canadian Nationals, there's more than a good chance that Bumstead could end up being the last man standing. Right now, Bumstead is rocking a level of conditioning that it's hard to imagine anyone being able to top. And when you throw in his crazy structure and density, you've got all the makings of a recipe for a future champion. If he can just manage to guide the ship in without running into any snags over these next few days, I think it's going to be pretty hard for anyone to deny him the win. A few weeks removed from making an impressive rookie debut back at the Chicago Pro, it looks like 212 athlete Walter Martin is almost ready to jump back into prep mode. After winning his pro card at last year's NPC Team Universe, Martin spent his entire offseason operating in full-time beast mode, and it paid off in spades as he ended up taking 9th in Chicago at one of the deeper 212 lineups we've seen all season. Right now, Martin says he's hovering somewhere around 220 pounds and looking to try to make a few last-minute improvements before jumping into another show before the year's end. And if he picks his spots correctly, he has a good shot at adding another top finish to his newly fashioned pro resume. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bodybuilding fans of all ages, at long last, Antoine Bell Yay has finally returned. After dropping completely off the radar for the last few months, one of the most charismatic and mercurial men in bodybuilding has reappeared to inject some of his own particular brand of humor and entertainment back into the sport. This week, some new photos and training footage surfaced of a smaller but solid-looking version of the former Canadian National overall champ who announced to the world that he's ready to make a comeback. Despite being a fixture on the scene for almost a decade, Bell Yay is still just 29 years old and never even really tapped into what he could have become as an athlete. So if he is indeed back and is focused with head on straight, it'll be interesting to see what sort of progress he can make and what sort of dominating physique he can bring to the stage. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by IronMag Labs. Make your mark. Check out IronMagLabs.com today. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hey guys, it's Stevie B here. If you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button below and never miss another RX Muscle show, segment, or update. RX Muscle is #1.